So in the first part of our discussion, we defined non-uniform motion. It means that the speed of an object or a vehicle is different with the time interval. Okay, so sometimes it moves slower, sometimes it moves faster. So the rate is different in different time intervals. But we can get the average speed of an object by the total distance traveled by an object divided by total travel time. So this is the formula. Average speed is equal to total distance traveled divided by the total travel time. So for us to use this formula, let's take a look at this problem. A car travels a speed of 100 km per in 8 hours, 30 km in 1 hour, and 200 km in 2 hours. What is the average speed of the car? So you can see in this figure, for the first 3 hours, 180 km per hour. So it means that 180 kilometer in 1 hour. In the second 1 hour, 30 kilometer per hour, and for the last 2 hours is 200 kilometer per hour. So it means that um 200 kilometer in 1 hour. So for us to solve for the average speed, just add, okay, add the distance traveled divided by the total time. So let's solve this one. So step 1 in finding the average speed is adding the total distance traveled by the vehicle or traveled by. So for example, or in our example, we have 180 km per hour, 30 km per hour, 200 km per hour. So we will just add the distance, 180 plus 30 plus 200. So if we will add the three numbers, then we can obtain 410 kilometers. So that is the first step. The second step is to calculate the total travel time. So in 180, what is the travel time? 3 hours. So in 30, what is the travel time? 1 hour. In 200, the travel time is 2 hours. So in total, the total travel time is 6 hours. So I will repeat, the total distance traveled is adding the distance, while the total travel time is adding the total or adding the time used in traveling. So that is 6 hours. And the third step is you will compute now the average speed, which is average speed is equal to total distance traveled divided by travel time. So is equal to total distance traveled 410, then total travel time, which is 6. So if we're going to divide, the answer is 68 and 1/3 kilometer per hour. So that is the average speed. Add first the distance traveled, add the travel time, then divide to get the average speed. For the last problem, at 8 a.m., Ronel leaves Laguna in a car heading to Batangas, traveling at 60 km per hour. After an hour, Tammy decided to follow a car traveling at a speed of 80 km per hour. At what time will Tammy overtake Ronel? So it means that Ronel started or heads 1 hour, okay, 1 hour earlier than Tammy. So you can see in our figure that of course Ronel traveled 60 km per hour. So then while Tammy 80 km per hour. So if we're going to total 8, 16, 24 or 240 km in 3 hours, and Ronel is 6, 12, 18, 24, 240 in 4 hours. So it means that Tammy will overtake Ronel after 3 hours by simply looking at this figure. But of course, we need to solve it using equation. So let's solve this one. Since the speed of Ronel is 60 km per hour, or his rate is 60 km per hour, so we write 60. Then for the time, n plus 1, because he is earlier, 1 hour earlier than Tamis, because Tamis only traveled after an hour. Okay, so for Tammy, his speed is 80 km per hour. Then the time is n. So that is Ronel's traveled distance, 60 quantity n plus 1, and Tammy's travel distance is 60 quantity, or 60 or 80n. Okay, so in order for us to get the value of n, just write it in algebraic expression. 60 n plus 1 is equal to 80n, because they will meet. So to get the value of n, first is let's distribute 60. 60n plus 60 is equal to 80n. Now let's add like terms. So we have 60 here and 80n. For us to transpose 60 on the other side, we will subtract 60n in both sides. So 60n plus 60 minus 60n is equal to 80n minus 60n. So we can now remove 60n on the other side. Then 80n minus 60n, we have 20n. Then divide, we can get n is equal to 3. So it means that Tammy will overtake Ronel after 3 hours, which is 12 noon. Okay. Tammy will overtake Ronel after 3 hours. Then the time would be, which is 12 noon. So Tommy will overtake Ronel after 3 hours, which is 12 noon. For your activity, answer practice A, B, and C on page 301 to 302. Take a clear photo of your answers and send it via private message. Deadline February 5.